Filming Twinkling Watermelon took quite a bit of effort from the cast, so here are all the strict rules they had to follow to create the final product. One of these efforts includes learning a new skill on the job. Did you know that Ryun actually had to learn how to play guitar for the show? He plays the role of Yoon, the musically gifted high school student who spends his nights being the guitarist of a band. While in the drama there's nothing he can't play on a guitar, in real life Ryun actually struggled quite a bit learning to play the instrument. Explaining how he felt during his practice moments, he said, "I needed to do well, but it really wasn't easy. I was often disappointed in myself during practice and I almost smashed a guitar once." In another interview, he revealed that the only way to make his performance look believable was to practice continuously. On the days that there was no filming scheduled, he would take the time to go to his guitar lessons. As you can probably already tell, it didn't go very smoothly at first, but by trying over and over again, he got the hang of it. Ryun wasn't the only one who had to learn a new instrument because Sol Inna, who plays the role of Choi Hyun Wook, shared similar hardships while learning to play the cello. In the drama, her character is close to a cello goddess, which means Inna really had to try her best. In an interview, Inna shared that she actually already knew how to play the guitar even though she isn't very good at it. She shared that she assumed playing the cello would be easier because of that, but unfortunately that wasn't the case at all. Sekyung confessed it was a really tough experience and took quite a lot out of her. Speaking up about it a little more, she said, "Whenever I touched my instrument, I saw my limitations and I found myself in tears because I couldn't play it well. Although it was difficult to the point it moved her to tears, she still had lots of fun on set, so it was all worth it in the end." Moving on, let's talk a bit about Shin Yunsu's experience, who had to act without saying any lines. Although that sounds pretty easy, it's actually really difficult to put on a convincing performance when you can't say anything. In the drama, Yunsu plays the role of Ice Princess Chunga, who has been deaf since birth. She explained that Chunga is a character who speaks with her eyes. Yunsu revealed that she had no lines at all, so the key to getting the scenes right was to imagine a certain dialogue while filming. She shared that she had to keep in mind the intentions and emotions of her character while trying to communicate through her body language. This is a completely new approach to acting, which you definitely don't get to do in every project. Of course, she also got to communicate with the other characters through sign language. Yunsu had to start from scratch since sign language was completely foreign to her. She shared that in the beginning it was pretty terrifying, because this was something she'd never done before. Explaining her approach, Yunsu said, "I practiced a lot so that Chunga would be more proficient and natural in later scenes where she would be using sign language to express many emotions as well as communicate. By practicing for weeks on end, she reached a level of proficiency that made shooting the scenes very exciting." In the drama, Chunga's idol is Mexican artist Frida Kahlo, who's known for her self-portraits and other artworks inspired by the nature and artifacts of Mexico. It turns out that while preparing for filming, Yunsu had to do quite a bit of research on this artist. Frida's art and personal life were very symbolic for Chunga's character, so Yunsu had to know what her work was all about. She expressed that while examining Frida's work, she became really inspired by her. Since Twinkling Watermelons is a coming-of-age show set in the 90s, the cast and crew had to put some effort into creating the right setting. In an interview with the Korea Times, director Son Jong-hyun spilled details on all things production. He explained the series had to have a certain charm, since they were trying to show the ingenious nature of youth. But because it was set in the past, the production team really tried to recreate the feel of the 90s, paying particular attention to the music. He said, "We put a lot of focus on the music, from the band song to the song that motivates Yoon. It would be great to enjoy the music and see how our parents had a sparkling youth." The director really had his mind set on the show becoming a source of nostalgia for older viewers. From the scenes to the music, everything had to remind viewers of the 90s. However, he also kept in mind that the main audience would be today's youth, so he also made sure to add elements of pop culture from that time so that younger viewers would discover something new. Ryun's character is very diverse, so learning to play the guitar wasn't the only thing he had to do. In the drama, he lives his life as the son of hearing-impaired parents. As a result of this, Ryun also had to learn sign language. That way, the communication with his on-screen parents would look as authentic as possible. Learning sign language as well as playing the guitar made acting significantly harder for him. He explained that if he put less effort into getting the sign language component correctly, then acting would go better. However, once he started focusing too much on nailing his acting, then performing sign language would become significantly more difficult. Multitasking and finding a right balance between the two components was incredibly challenging, but in the end, he managed to pull it off. To perfect his sign language, he took multiple classes in between filming hours. He didn't stop at only taking classes though, because he also tried to learn more about what it's like to be hearing impaired. He did did this by visiting houses of deaf people to familiarize himself with how they go through their daily lives. With each person he visited, he learned new things that moved him. By doing this, he didn't only improve his skills, he also grew closer to these people. Ryun shared that he learned that communication doesn't only have to happen through words, he found out people also communicate with their hearts. By immersing himself into his work, he discovered a newfound appreciation for sign language. Explaining his take on this, he said, "It tells stories and expresses emotions without words." Ryun also shared that simply memorizing the signs wasn't enough to put on a good performance, he had to really be in tune with his feelings as well so that his acting would be as genuine as possible. Ryun confessed that none of his classes were easy and that the script of the show itself was really elaborate, so having good concentration was very important while juggling between all these new skills. It's probably not surprising that filming was tiring and physically demanding, since that's almost always the case with every drama. Although none of the cast members had to do any serious action scenes, being on set all day can already be pretty exhausting in itself, especially since the filming schedule was probably pretty hectic and happened over the summer. It's not clear how long filming took exactly, but since pictures of the first script reading were shared in August, it's safe to assume that they didn't have that much time to get everything done. When asked how tiring the filming process was, Yunsu responded with, "All of the actors are practicing and performing various fields such as musical instruments and sign language, not just acting, so I think there must have been some physically challenging moments." However, she also explained that the actors had really good teamwork, and that their relationship with the staff was amazing as well, which made the long days bearable. Yunsu expressed that she managed to shoot with little to no exhaustion because she was close to everyone, but also because all of the actors took their roles so seriously, so there were barely any issues. Speaking of hectic schedules, did you know that Choi Hyun Wook, who plays the role of Lee Chan, had to squeeze in filming for the drama because he was already incredibly busy? With the workload he had, taking on this drama as well would be challenging, but after reading the script, he couldn't say no to the offer. Just like his fellow cast members, he had to learn sign language, so he really decided to go for that extra challenge. Revealing how he felt about taking on the project, Hyun Wook said, "The whole time I was reading the script, I felt warmth. There was something about it that was touching. I really enjoyed it to the point that I was worried about my acting." The director was incredibly happy to hear that Hyun Wook decided to take on the extra workload by joining the cast. He shared how he reacted to the news and said, even amid the busy schedule he had, he expressed that he really liked the script and would like to take part no matter what, which made me really happy. The director expressed that he really believed Hyun Wook was the right fit for this character, so naturally he would have been disappointed to cast anyone else. Despite being the director's favorite pick, Hyun Wook actually almost ruined the success of the show. He found himself in a bit of a controversy after netizens saw a video of him smoking. Not only that, he also threw the remains of his cigarette on the ground, which isn't legal in Korea. He was fined by the police and publicly apologized for the mishap. While this might sound like a minor offense to some, behavior like this is taken very seriously in Korea. Luckily, this incident didn't interfere with the show, so Hyun Wook got let off the hook quite easily after all. Which one of these efforts do you think is the most impressive? Let us know in the comments below.